Ahoy and welcome to this week's video. First of all, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody that's joined up on the website. Thank you so much. That money is going to support the channel, which is going to be a big requirement coming soon, because there's going to be some big changes, some very big changes indeed. This video I go from Deacons, which is on the River Hamble, over to East Coast Marina. It's a little bit of a tricky one navigation. It's pretty simple, it's not very far, but in terms of timings, because you can only leave Deacons Marina at a certain time and you really want to hit East Coast at a certain time, so I had to make sure that I got that right, which I didn't, by the way, so spoiler alert. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll get to the bit of the docking and stuff like that, and I'll talk through that in this week's video, because it's just a good opportunity to show you. In fact, here I've got some little bits of footage of the tide running through the marina literally a few minutes before I set off. I actually spoke to one of the berthmasters there, and I said, look, I was planning on setting off. I wasn't expecting this tide to be running through, and he's like, give it 3 minutes, it'll be gone, and literally 3 minutes later it was gone. So yeah, let's get into the rest of the video. Alright, so I'm actually going to talk you through this departure. I really need to stop saying all the time, but I can't help it. So what I'm doing here is I've got a spring on from my midship cleat to the aft cleat on the dock just here. And if you just look sort of below the cleat, you can see the knot there, which is a quick release knot that the wonderful David Clark Williams taught me, which I use everywhere. So what I'm doing here is the boat is in forward gear ticking over, and you can see that the tiller is lashed over to one side by just putting it against the winch. So in fact what that is doing is pushing the boat forwards into that spring line, and the spring line stopping it going any further forwards. And the fact that the prop wash is going over the rudder and being thrown out towards that boat that says west on it means that it's keeping the stern in as well. And because the stern is sat on a fender, the bow can't come out any, because it's also tied on the spring midships. So that has enabled me to take the bow line off, which is now doing nothing. And I've set the stern line up here to slip, which means it comes from the boat around the cleat and back to the boat. So I just need to undo one end and I can recover it straight onto the boat, just like so. So the boat will just sit in this position now all day until I run out of fuel, basically. It can't go anywhere. I'm doing a little idiot check here, which I always do, and something strange happened. The stern just randomly started coming across. I don't know if it was a little bit of tide or current that threw it for some reason. I have no explanation for it. But in holding the tiller back over, eventually the stern went back where I wanted. Now, when I go in a stern, we have what's called prop walk, and my prop walks to the left hand side of the upper screen as we're looking at it. So I don't actually want my stern to be all over towards that pontoon, because what will happen is my stern will get drawn across that way anyway. If you look at the boats in the distance, you can see that the stern is moving from right to left ever so slightly, and that's a prop walk. And you don't want it to go too much, because then the bow will hit the boat that says west on it as well, because you rotate around a central point, which is why I knocked it out of gear. That takes the prop walk out of the equation, and there's enough water going over the rudder that I can maintain a little bit of control with the rudder and prevent myself from hitting the bow on the boat that was to the left of me. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but it makes sense in my head. Clicking into forwards, waiting for the boat movement to stop, and then moving the tiller over. The prop wash, which is the wash from the prop being pushed astern, is hitting my rudder, which is pointed over to the side and causing the back of the boat to turn and pivot around that central point, which points me in the right direction. Yeah, and that's basically how you do that. Probably sounded like an idiot there, but it made sense in my bonds, so, you know, who knows. As I exit Deacons here, you can just about see under my boom that the bridge is off to the left there. And that's why you get a lot of tide here, because everything funnels through that bridge, and it also sort of, you get these weird counter-currents coming through the marina even after the end of the flood, I think it was. But yeah, all this is information, as with all Beaufort marinas, is available on their webpage. That'll tell you the marina plan and when best to arrive and stuff like that. So slow as you want inside the marina, don't go as fast, don't go any faster than you would like to hit something is the rule. Once I get out of the marina, speed is actually my friend, especially if there's any wind or tide. You imagine now if the engine dies and I'm basically stationary, within seconds I lose the water going over my rudder, which means I'll lose all steerage and I'm at the mercy of the wind and waves, wind and tide, which isn't good. So here, if I get some speed up, if the engine was to die now, I've got enough steerage to move the boat over to one side, probably get to one of the pontoons on one of either side and just throw a line onto another boat or something. I've got the fenders out, they've got fenders out. So I have options with speed, it buys me time. Yeah, and that's that basically. Let's speed it up, get out of the handle, and I'll talk to you when I talk to you. Alright, as you probably know, we're coming out of the Hamble. This is actual Hamble village town place, and the town dock there. And that you can see in the background somewhere is the Hamble lifeboat. By now you've either already seen me on the Hamble lifeboat or you will see me in the future on the Hamble lifeboat. But I'm going to go down and do a shift with them and try and do some fundraising, because I didn't realise that there are actually private lifeboats in the Solent. Operational 24 hours a day, not part of the RNLI and tasked by the Coast Guard in much the same way, as I understand it. So yeah, they have to fundraise independently. So I'm going to try and do a bit of work with them and see if we can generate some money for them. I think that'll be nice. There's a Royal Southern Yacht Club and the Town Quay. That over there, if you can see it, is Tom Hardy's house. Dan told me the other day. I don't think he was winding me up. So yeah, Tom Hardy lives right there. He's been naked in a shower over there. Weird, isn't it? Well, it's not weird being naked in a shower. Yeah, so another 15 minutes or so I'll be out of the Hamble into Southampton water. Then I'm just going to go straight over Bramble Bank because we're at high tide. It'll be fine. I haven't got my fenders in, I can't be bothered now. This will be probably a short video. I'm going to East Coast. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's another tidal marina. Well, not a tidal marina, most marinas are tidal. But it's a marina on a river where they have tidal currents running through the marina. So hopefully we time it right and we do okay. So yeah, I'll get back to driving the boat amongst all these bazillions and gazillions of other boats, which I still find crazy. There's thousands of boats in this river, thousands. Right, I'm going doing a thing. I thought the Solo was supposed to be protected waters. This is grim. I've got the sail up, but Jesus Christ. Oh, immediately calms down. This is horrible. Oh, God. This is grim. Oh, at least we're doing 6 knots. Hey, you fucking fuck. Hey, you fuck. Thing is, I can't quite get to where I want to, just under the headsail, and I'm not putting the main up for half an hour. So it'll be what it'll be. Oh, Christ alive. Like breaking waves and white horses and everything. Jeez! Get a grip, Solent! I want a nice, easy last couple of days. Ugh. Yeah, it wasn't a classic track across, but the option was to either motor into the wind and take 2 3/4 hours, or sort of bear away, sail, and it's looking like it'll have taken me about 2 hours. I'll put the track up so you can see it. Yeah, getting a bit of protection now from the Isle of Wight, so the sea state's died down, which is nice. Just eyeballing for yachts because they're everywhere, and the red funnel's on its way out as well, I think, so I'll have to watch for that. But yeah, probably going to be a short video because I've got half an hour left until I get there. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I forgot to make myself a drink, so I had nothing to drink. I'm bloody gasping, but nearly there. Last marina on the thing. Back home tomorrow in theory. Whew! It's been a long way. I really cocked this up. The reason I wanted to try and keep east on the way across was because there's an east to west setting tide across the entrance of Cowes. So I wanted to land east of Cowes. However, the wind and the swell wouldn't let me do that. I couldn't motor into it, I was doing 1 knot. So I had to land west of Cowes, which means I've been stuck in the tide for the past 30 minutes. Practically not moving. Anyway, I've just seen a local boat come in, and I was sort of trying to get across there to get around that buoy and get in, and he's come all the way to the beach. The beach is literally just there, and come in this way, which seems to have got me out of the tide. So thank the imaginary baby Jesus for local boats with local knowledge. I'll just follow this chap in. I'm still only doing 2-point-odd knots, but I should still make the tidal gate just about. It'll be 2 hours after high water, so yeah, hopefully. I've got 5.3 meters under the keel. I don't want to get any closer than this really. Right, see how it goes. Lifeboat chaps are out. I really need a drink, my throat's killing. I just did a little loop to let the red funnel go in front of me. That's me. I know the only thing I need, and the alley cat went in as well. That means the only thing I need to deal with now is the chain ferry, which is good, and try and get in with this bloody tide because I'm practically stationary. You can see it ripping on the buoy there. Bloody nightmare. I've really messed this one up, but we'll see. That were good, weren't it? Yeah, so you saw us come past the Royal Yacht Squadron, stuff like that. These, it threw me actually coming into these berths, because it's like an alongside berthing in a finger pontoon. They are massive, but so nice to get into. I can foresee, well, in fact, one thing that I was worried about is that more boats would come in during the night and be on the opposite side to me and behind me, and I'd have to sort of spring out and reverse up between the middle of them. That was a worry for me. Luckily, I don't think that happened. Yeah, sorry to ruin the whole thing of YouTube, but all this was happening like 5.5 months ago now for me. This happened 5.5 months before you're seeing it. I got back in October, so yeah, I've been working ever since. So yeah, brought the boat in, nice and bonny. Stopped the boat. There's very little wind, virtually none. Chucked out some fenders. Got one line on, and as DCW used to say, the rest is just rope work. Can't remember if I tried doing that fancy thing where I wrapped the cleat from on the boat. I don't recall. Well, I'll usually cut it here, but we'll have to find out now, won't we? What am I gonna do? Oh! Kind of. Close enough for these, man. See, the breast line is so important as a solo sailor. You can just do so much with it. That single line on, and the boat is effectively secured. It can't go anywhere. It can rotate bow in, and it'll just touch the bow fender, or it can rotate stern in and touch the stern fender. So that's super important. Just come in, get that one on. Then I think I get off the boat, drag it forward a little bit more to make some space, and that's the end of that. So yeah, back to the studio. So that was that, all docked up. East Coast is a cool little place. I actually went on the chain ferry and stuff like that, which is stuff that you'll see in the Marina Tour video. I filmed that, so that'll be good. So yeah, next week I go from East Coast to Portland, which is where I set off from, which is my home. Yeah, so mixed emotions. I was sort of looking forward to getting there, stuff like that, but it was an absolutely horrible trip, I'll be honest with you. I really cocked up in the Solent. It felt like my boat was going to get dismasted, and I was in protected waters, and then I got battered going past the Needles, and then I got battered at St Albans Head, and then it absolutely poured down, and the boat was just full of water, and it made me fight for it on the last day. But you'll see all that rubbish next week. Thanks for watching. Again, thank you to my channel members and members of the website. You really are helping out an immense amount. Peace out.